Welcome to Life Happens, where Texans come to protect their legacy and prepare for the second half of life. Join your host, attorney Kim Hegwood with Hegwood Law Group, and our weekly guest as we navigate the challenges that emerge as life happens. Now here's your host, Kim Hegwood.
Good morning and welcome to Life Happens. Today our special guest is Marla Ragen with Organized Time. And welcome to the show, Marla.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
And so, we're super happy to have you. We were talking a little bit earlier before the show started. And today we're going to be talking about the simple time habits to get more out of your day. And I need more of those. Because there's just never enough time in the day to get everything accomplished. And so I have, I've been listening to a guy that was talking about habits. And his premise is that it takes 90 days of doing it every day to form a habit. And that's difficult to do. And so where do you find that habits come from?
Well, habits come from our brain, and it's how our brain kind of simplifies things so that we don't have to think about what we do. And I think one of my best examples is when your parents dangled the keys in front of you and said, "Hey, it's time to learn how to drive." And you're like, "Yes." And you went, you sat behind the wheel, you were very deliberate with everything. Putting the key in the ignition, feeling the steering wheel, everything you did was very deliberate. Now, a few years later, you get in, out, look, all clear, let's go. You don't even think about it. It's because now it's all become rote. It's all become a habit. And your brain doesn't have to think about, okay, this is the key. I have to put it in. You don't have to do that all the time anymore because your brain automatically does that for you.
Yeah, I'm very thankful that my brain got me home a lot of times.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
I can remember driving and thinking, wow, I've sure gone a long way and hadn't really paid that much attention because I was thinking about something.
Right. And the 90 days on the habit, science really hasn't figured out how many days or how long it takes for us to form a habit. And I think it just depends on what the habit is. I think if there's resistance with that habit, that it's going to take longer. But if it's an easy habit and all of a sudden it's like, hey, I got this, I don't think that there's any exact number to a habit.
And with your business, you're talking about, time habits.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Yes, time habits are the things that you do to set yourself up for success. And what I like to do is have somebody really sit down to do their plan for the week or even tomorrow. I feel like tomorrow begins the night before. And that way you look at, where do I need to go tomorrow? What time do I need to arrive? Do I need to really, look good? So if I do, then what am I going to wear? And check out your clothes, just get everything laid out for tomorrow, from the supplements you take to the snacks you're going to eat, the water you're going to drink, everything. Get it all out there. Get your bags packed. If you have kids at home, make sure you put them through the same thing. Is your homework done? Is your bag packed? Do you have whatever it is you need for after school? Do you have your instrument? Here's your lunch. Here's this, that, and the other, and get it all together. You're going to sleep a lot better. And something else, when I'm doing speaking in front of people, I'll tell them, get both shoes together. Make sure they match. Make sure they are the pair of shoes that you want to wear, and the left one and the right one are together. I cannot tell you how many shoe stories I have of people who have shown up with a black shoe and a blue shoe because it was dark when they got dressed, or the best one yet. It was two completely different shoes with two completely different heels. How do you do that?
I don't know. I have done the wrong color shoes because they were the same pumps
Exactly.
And you just go in and you grab the two and in the first, it's happened to me once. It was at the courthouse, and oh my gosh, they gave me grief over that one. And
It's
so you look down
memorable.
and you're like, oh wow, okay, this is great. Hopefully no one looks at my shoes. So
Oh, but they would. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
but I can honestly say from my closet space, I know why, because I walk in, take my shoes off, and there's a pile in the closet. And so it was my own fault.
Exactly. So time habits really is about thinking ahead and then getting it all together when you have the right mind to do it. In the morning, I know for me, I have not exactly entered the Earth's atmosphere in the morning. So if I can do things the night before, find out, am I out of coffee? I can do something about it. Am I out of milk, cereal, whatever it is we're going to have for breakfast? I can do something about it the night before. In the morning, it's just going to, just really blow up in your face.
So from your perspective, why are they important?
They're important because it helps you to get a grasp on exactly what you need, where you need to go, and to be able to take care of everything you need to take care of, whether you are a caretaker, you have small children at home, or you're taking care of an elderly parent, or you are a caretaker taking care of someone. You've got to have you together before. It's like putting that oxygen mask on first. You have to take care of you first, because you can't pour out of an empty cup, right? You've got to have your act together, your mind together, before you can give and pour out to other people. So if you are rushing around and you don't have it together and you're just in la la land, you're not going to be any good to anybody else.
No, I can understand that completely.
Yeah.
I am programmed my days by my calendar these days.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, exactly. When you're calendar driven and you know what's next and you know, okay, I know how to get there. I know how much time it takes me to get to where I need to go. So, y'all, I've got to cut this short right now. I'll talk to you later. We'll pick this up later. And then you're out the door so that you're showing up at the next place. Now, you need to be not only prepared physically, you need to be mentally prepared. What am I walking into? And so it's calming yourself down. It's getting your mind prepared for the next thing. And who am I going to be meeting with? What are we going to be talking about? Do I have everything I need for that? And so by preparing even the week before and having all of these things in place, you're going to show up and they're going to go, she is brilliant. How does she do it?
I hope they think that anyway.
Yeah. Keep them guessing. Yeah.
So, it's as an attorney, we're pretty much calendar driven anyway.
Right.
But my whole life is on my calendar. So I tell people, if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't get done. Because
Exactly.
when I was a caregiver and taking care of my grandparents, I had to
God
block the
bless you.
time off to if there's a doctor visit, that wiped out my morning. So you block it off, you don't schedule anything. And so it really became important, because as they were declining, my kids were teenagers. And so my youngest played volleyball. So really all the moving parts was it had to be on there or it didn't get done. And so
Exactly. And Kim, I'm asked, do I have a calendar for home and a calendar for work? I tell them no. One life,
that's it.
one calendar. Because if you're juggling calendars, something's going to fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if you color code that one calendar, this color is for work and this color is for home, that way when you look at it, oh, I've got something coming up that's personal, and that's helpful if you're a creative person. If you're not a creative person, forget the color coding and just write it all in. So
no, we color code everything. And
yeah.
So because in my office, it tells me what type of appointment it is and things like
Right.
that. We even have a color code for personal times.
Good.
And so, but for us, we have a lot of clients that are caregivers because they came in, they did planning, and then one of the spouses is starting to decline.
Mm-hmm.
And so what kind of advice, do you give them?
I absolutely think there's nothing different. They absolutely need to plan ahead. But one of the things that I feel like they absolutely need to have is a break. They need personal time. They need somebody to come in and give them a break so that they can mentally just not be on. I remember when I was expecting my second child, my first child went to Mother's Day out for the very first time. And I think she was 18 months old. And I went back home after I dropped her off. And my little mommy meter went all over the house looking for that baby. And I was almost like, and then I thought, I can relax. She's okay. I don't have to be listening all the time for her. I don't have to get her juice. I don't have to change her diaper. I don't have to, I can just sit here and not do anything. That was a new concept for me.
Yeah.
And I knew at that point how important that was to have do nothing time. It's okay. And I sometimes feel like people need that permission to have do nothing time. You might just sit and stare at the TV, just clicking the channels. You're not focusing in on anything else, but you got to do something. So here you are, clicking the channels, not doing anything. Take a walk, go have a cup of tea, meet with a friend, and just have a nice, good conversation. And it's nothing to do with what you're doing on a daily basis. Give yourself that time because it is truly a gift. And then when you do return to your job, to your loved one, you're going to be refreshed mentally and physically, and you're going to feel so much better and probably sleep better that night too because you've had a good conversation with somebody.
It's one of the hardest things to get a caregiver to do is to take care of themselves.
Right.
And we preach it, and you can beat them over the head with a stick,
Right.
Metaphorically
Right.
speaking, but
Yeah.
look, you got to take care of yourself. You've got to take a nap. You've got to get sleep at night. You need to do something for fun. It doesn't take away from how much you love or care about them. It's just
No.
really important, that you do that.
Right, right. And in order to be a better caregiver, you need to take that break. You need that. Absolutely need it. And if anybody listening, if you need permission, I hereby give you permission to take a break and do nothing.
Yeah, we do that all the time. And so all the time. And
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you think is the number one action step that a caregiver can take to manage time better?
Use a very good calendar. And what I like to do is before I even sit down to plan, I do a mind sweep. I just get everything off of my mind in no particular order without editing, just start writing it down. And the physical way that you write is different from a different way that you type. But if you're physically not able to write for whatever reason, then type it out. But get what is on your brain, get it off of there and let paper hold it. After you get all of those thoughts, those frustrations, it doesn't matter what it is, get it on paper. Then you can look at it and say, oh, okay, yeah, I do need to make that appointment. So here's going to be my telephone time when I can sit down and actually make phone calls, make appointments, and do that. Here is the time when I'm going to take care of things like grocery shopping or even ordering online so that it can be delivered. Here's my cook time. Here is my this time and my that time. So it's assigning, it's like having zones in your calendar. When are you going to do these different things? Because people still need to eat and we wear clothes. You have to do your laundry. So when are you going to do those things? Is it going to be one day that you take care of all of that? Or do you have little times here and there when you can take care of all of those little necessary things that need to be done? And And by planning those, even if you don't get to it all, you still have that plan in place, which really helps you to get back to where you were. Because life happens, things happen. All of a sudden, it's like fruit basket turnover, and all of that plan just has to be shoved to the side to take care of what's important. And I understand that it's not a perfect world, but by having that plan in place, you are more apt to have things done and be able to get back to the plan.
So your company, tell our listeners exactly what you do for your clients.
Well, actually, I am like a Girl Friday, I guess you could say. The name of my company is Organized Time, and I started my business in 1997. And I started out as somebody who went into the home and helped people in their pantries, their kitchens, and get everything organized, closets, and all of that. And it just kind of morphed into doing things like being a virtual assistant, because my background is being a secretary and doing administrative tasks. And now I kind of do a little bit of both. I will come in and I'll help them with filing and getting papers in order, getting a filing system. Okay, now let's go look at your closet and let's do this. And I've also helped with downsizing and helping. There was one client that I have that took me to her parents' home, and we would go for the weekend, and we started downsizing. We started in one little area. So if it has to do with paper, if it has to do with stuff, then our time, I'm all about those things. And I ask my client, what do you need? And let's take care of those things. Where are you frustrated in your home, in your office, or with your time management? Let's start with the biggest frustration, because once we get that out of the way, then everything else is easy to do. We can take care of that. We can handle that. So I'm a big listener. There's no judgment with me, because I totally understand how life happens. And, everybody's situation is different. So I don't have a cookie cutter system. I listen to what your needs are, and I take care and help you find a system that will work best for you. And if that system needs tweaking, that's okay. And usually systems do need tweaking. So,
And if listeners want to reach out to you, how do they find you?
the best way is to send me an email, which is Marla R at Organized Time, or call me. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
It's all there.
That phone number is the
Yes.
281-682-0127.
Yes, and I prefer that you text me first, because of all of the robocalls and all of that. I will not answer my phone. If you do call, please leave a message and I will call you back. So,
Perfect.
yes.
All right, Marla, I just want to thank you so much. It's some good information for everyone. And
Great.
Thanks again for coming on the show. And I'm sure we'll see each other again soon.
I hope so. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Life Happens with Kim Hegwood. Be sure to tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. wherever you listen to your podcast, as we navigate through the challenges that emerge as life happens. The content of this podcast does not establish an attorney-client relationship or constitute attorney-client privilege, legal, medical, financial, or any other professional advice.